Well, to go right in, Nate, I wanted to ask, is there a success story that you've recently experienced with the apprenticeship world, and kind of just share what that was like?
Yeah, so there's many success stories. So VEKA has had apprenticeship programs since 1991. We started with the tool and die making program, again, because that was a very important skill aspect that we needed to learn. So over all those years, we've had many people grow into positions, but one of the success stories I really like to see, and it's one that kind of shows a little quick, is how many of the how many of the apprentices develop those soft skills, that emotional intelligence, and especially with their apprentices coming straight out of high school and with VEKA being their first job.
Mm.
So at VEKA, we focus not only on the technical side of the trade, but we also focus on the personal skills and how an employee can grow. An early win is definitely so seeing that apprentice build confidence. They stay calm under pressure and they communicate more thoughtfully with their coworkers, their trainers, and their managers. That really gives them the soft skills to develop, communicate, build bridges, not just closing doors as they go through that work process. They're closing doors. We don't want them to close doors. We want them to build bridges and meet their coworkers and build that internal networking.
Absolutely. To kind of develop those unexpected skills that you didn't know you needed for life, especially as well. And, you know, you had mentioned that, well, I think Lisa did, that you were an apprentice yourself. Can you tell me more about that?
Yeah.
How was that experience? I mean, from an apprentice perspective, that must have been awesome.
Yeah, so it was really great. So the apprentice program, I really wasn't sure what it was. So I joined the apprentice program 6 years after starting actually at VEKA. So I've done a lot at VEKA, but I ended up actually moving down to Texas and worked there for a little over a year as a lead tech. Whenever I moved back up, I was supervising, and I had a son at the time. So they changed the schedule, and I ended up going out to our OLP department, so where we made fence and deck, which is now in Morganton, North Carolina. So with that going, I kind of didn't want to just stay there. I wanted to learn more. I liked knowing the why. So I found out through Thomas Vandebunt, the training manager, about apprenticeships. So I joined the polymer process plastic extrusion. So I ended up applying and joining the polymer process tech apprenticeship. And I was able to do that. It was about a 3-year program. And I was able to go in the different departments and cross off all those checks and those hours and get my competency checklist done and really build those bridges and network. And that really...
And you grew yourself in the company, too.
Yeah, I
mean, right now, you are the apprenticeship coordinator, correct, for VEKA?
Yeah, so I'm the training coordinator. I do a lot with the internal and external apprenticeship programs. It's very large, so I'm not the only one. Thomas does a lot as well. But I would have never, 5 years ago, I would have never realized I would have been doing anything with training. I thought I would just be operating and getting involved on the floor, but now I get involved on the floor and a lot on the other side of the wall as well.
That's wonderful. That's very valuable to have. And it's kind of cool that you get to see not only your experience, but also know what your apprentices need when you're looking over their shoulder in their learning pathway. And
can I add that Nate is a great example of those emotional skills that we just talked about? So Nate was not just a great support, or is a great support for the apprentices right now going into VEKA, but during the time as an apprentice, he was kind of like the leader of the group that went to college together. So whenever there was a question, they all referred back to Nate. So you could just see that with going through the program, getting those skills, how you really grew your leadership skills and just naturally gravitated towards that role. And just became kind of like the leader of the class. And it was very cute and funny to see how they all gravitated to you and how you naturally just accepted that position and just grew and matured during the program.
Appreciate it.